welcome to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. So today, we're going to be talking about design, but not just any design. It's not even just interior design. It's really creating your environment, an environment both at home and in business, although we're going to focus more on business, that suits you, that fits you, that brings out the best in you, and probably more when I talk to my guest. And my guest is Sherry Burton Ways, and the other interesting thing we'll be talking about is something that she calls soul alignment. And I wanted to talk to Sherry about this because I don't use those words. And when I'm thinking of interior design, which again is more, I had to work out, and I saw Sherry present the soul alignment, and I thought, oh man, I like that. So enough of me. So Sherry, welcome to Think About It.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's such a pleasure to be here this evening. And I just wanted to say that the work that I do as an interior designer is very sacred to me. And it really goes back to the late 90s when I started decorating my own home. I've owned 3 homes.
Wow, okay.
And in my lifetime.
Okay, that's kind of normal.
Yeah. And through that experience, I was working in a completely different industry. I was working in urban planning. Yeah. And I was actually a transportation planner. So transportation planning is the roadways.
Okay, man, that's pretty left brain and male focused.
Very, 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 very much. But there was always this creative side that I had growing up. I was always an artist. I was artistically bent. And when I bought my first home, I was really interested in creating an oasis for me to come home to after a long day of work in that other environment. And it was an environment that spoke to me, that rejuvenized me, regenerated me, gave me focus and empowerment as a woman. And through that experience, people came to my home and really resonated with the work that I did. So, bought a second home. I was living in Baltimore at that time, then moved to Washington, D.C. area, bought another house, did the same thing. People resonated. And then finally someone said to me, I think you're missing your calling. Of course.
You want to start a business.
Exactly.
Yeah, how many times did they say that?
Yeah, right. Start a business. And then on top of that, there was the suggestion that I look into this concept, the ancient Chinese practice of what they call feng shui, which is the Chinese art of placement for good energy. So I studied both at the same time, went back to school for interior design, studied under several gurus in the feng shui, masters, people that, did a lot of work in that area, and got my certification as a feng shui consultant, and thus got my education in interior design. So several years later, when I had the opportunity to do so, I left the urban planning career path and started on my journey as an interior design expert in the area of what I call holistic design or feel-good space design. And from there, I started not only designing homes, but I started designing offices,
that makes sense.
Apartments, all kinds of businesses. And so what I ended up doing was taking what I learned between the feng shui education and the design education and my own intuition, and created what I call feel-good design, feel-good space design, which thus my first book back in 2012 was Feel Good Spaces, decorating your home for the body, mind, and spirit.
Okay.
So from there, you know, began to work on a lot of really great projects, from a dentist office to a holistic center to a bakery to a multifamily or apartment building.
Okay.
And the whole premise of what I do is touching on this whole idea of reflecting the interior and making sure that that interior is reflecting who you are and what your soul's purpose is.
So when I first heard feng shui, I thought, okay, she makes the chair face that way because that's where the sun's coming in instead of facing this way, you know, because that's like our novice idea of feng shui. It's just like how the furniture's placed. But it's so much more from hearing you speak a lot. How do you, without giving away little secrets, because it's much more, how do you create that feeling with, quote, just furniture and paint and wallpaper?
Yeah, I mean, there's a simple, you know, way to kind of look at the whole feng shui thing, because with feng shui, a lot of people don't realize there's several schools of feng shui. It's not just feng shui. So there's the classical feng shui, there's the east-west system, there's the Western school, there's the black hat Tibetan school.
Oh my goodness.
You know, intuitive school. You know, there's all these different schools. And you have to, you know, understand when you pick up a book in a bookstore about feng shui, you got to kind of understand what school are they speaking from, so to speak.
Okay.
So the work that I do and my training has been able to combine several schools when necessary when I'm working with a client. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to keep in mind several rules, so to speak, that everything that feng shui abides by. One is decluttering, you know, decluttering space, whether it's your office, your home, or what have you. The other thing is surrounding yourself with things that you absolutely love. Okay. The other thing is creating some sort of sacred space for yourself. And what I mean by that, a place where you can go and just really rejuvenate and really fill yourself up mentally, physically, and spiritually for what it is that you're trying to do. The other thing is to have nothing broken in your home or office, even if it's a cracked glass of a picture frame that you have in your office. Okay? Because the idea is that energy that you're trying to create through feng shui, which I'll talk about in just a second, can land there and get stuck there. And then 5 is get rid of anything that doesn't bring you joy. So if you bring all those, what we call the 5 cardinal rules, into this whole idea of a space, then you can decorate and design. And this is more of a universal thing. But then when you're getting down to the various schools, then there's positioning of, you know, desks and chairs and colors and the 5 elements and balance and all those great things. But feng shui is about the feeling, the energy of a space when you enter it. So it's about what they call qi. And I always liken it to a little ball of energy, like a little white energy, little ball that just circulates around your space. And when it's invisible, it comes through doors and windows. And feng shui is literally called, you know, wind and water. Feng is wind and shui is water. So when we're thinking about this invisible energy that comes through, it's coming through those 2 elements. So, you know, if you're having good energy circulating through your space, you don't want it cluttered. You don't want things that are broken. You want things that you absolutely love around you. You want to be rid of things that are not, you know, of your highest good. And you want to cultivate sacred space. And through that, you get an abundance of wealth, relationships, health, all kinds of things. So yeah, it's complex, but there's many different layers to it.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Sure.
In that I hear you say energy settling into a space. And you know from seeing me for a long, long time, when I start to hear some of the languaging, I kind of go, okay. So I'm going to ask sort of a little bit more. How does energy fall into cracks and take that space? But I'm asking that also knowing that when something exists, that when you walk, they say when you walk into a room, you feel something.
Exactly.
And I'm going to assume that's what you mean, but you just use different language from what I
Exactly.
use.
So
Okay.
everybody who, I mean, I think most people can relate to this. Whenever you walk into a space, right? I don't care if it's a lobby of a hotel or office building or even your own office or your own home, you automatically are going to feel something.
Okay.
Okay. You're either going to like where you're at or the feeling that you feel, or you're going to feel like something is not balanced.
Okay.
I don't feel right. So that's when we talk about, I always use more of the term feel good because people can relate to that more than say feng shui. And then, you know, when you feel at home and you feel like the space is resonating with you, then it's touching this whole thing about your soul's purpose. Or what I call a personal mission statement. And this is what I have talked about before that you have witnessed in some of my talks, where it's understanding your personal mission statement. And your personal mission statement could be related to your business or your overall career, or what is it, you know, the mission you have in life, and understanding how does that reflect where you live and work. So if I am designing an office space for you, I would be taking your personal mission statement, not necessarily your business mission statement, which could be related and in some cases are the same thing.
Okay.
You know, a business mission statement may be a little bit different than a personal mission statement, or it could be one and the same.
Okay, I would imagine people who aren't in business have not heard even of their personal mission statement.
Right. Jack Canfield, I'm sure
Chicken Soup.
Yep. Has a great book. I'm trying to think of the name of it, where he walks you through how to build upon your personal mission statement. And then from there, you take that mission statement and build upon your business to match the mission statement. So everything that you do, every activity, every task, every project, every proposal that you're looking at has to somehow relate back, which I think this is great, to that personal mission statement. And when you think about that, why can't your interior reflect that as well? You know, if we break it down from that level. So when I am creating spaces for people, I'm not only using, you know, going back to the feng shui or the feel-good concept, I'm also going back to understanding the mission of the individuals that I'm working for. For example, when I did a dentist office, the mission of that dentist was to be an educator, an advocate for eco-friendly dentistry.
Okay.
This was several years ago when this was first being introduced, you know, into our region. and he was the first to do it. So everything that we did for that space for him had to be environmentally friendly.
Okay.
You know, from the paint on the walls to the flooring to the furniture that was reused and reupholstered with environmentally friendly fabrics.
Okay.
The layout, the material, everything had to be done in such a way that reflected his overall mission for himself and his business. And
Okay.
he could take you to around his office today and give you a detailed tour of everything that's in there and why it's environmentally friendly, because he's not only educating you and being an advocate, it is part of who he is as a person, as his soul mission,
Okay.
as his business mission.
So that makes sense then. Yeah, that makes a little more sense to me. So we've got a few seconds before our break,
Okay.
and then we're going to come back.
Okay.
I've got a couple other questions that I'm thinking viewers might also be thinking, like, what are the kinds of questions you ask somebody in order to draw out the information that you need in order to create the space that's right for them. So that's one of the questions I'm going to ask when we come back, and then I'm going to let you talk some more about creating that kind of a space, especially in business, because I think the business, lots of different people come, and so how do you kind of adjust for lots of different people?
Sure.
So, with that, we'll be right back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hello, welcome back to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I'm still talking to Sherry Burton Ways, and we're talking about interior design, but more soul-centered interior design. And so, Sherry, to pick up where we left off, I said that I left people hanging, saying that I was going to ask you about what are some of the questions that you ask your clients or your potential clients in order to draw out who they are and what their mission is.
That's a great question, and there's so many ways that I go about it, but one of the ways that I find some level of success with is, and I'm repeating myself here, is understanding what is success for them once this project is done.
Like
that
how do I
question, yeah,
how do I want to feel?
yeah,
or-
what do you want to feel? What do you want to see in this space that's going to be considered a successful project for you?
Okay.
And every time I ask that question, it really relates back to understanding what are the perceived expectations. What do you see in your mind of what it is you want this to be? And I also ask questions about the end user. You know, what do you want the end user to experience in coming into your business or into your space?
So that would be your client coming
Your
into your
clients,
space, or your
exactly.
guest coming into your house.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
from that, you know, I go into, well, how do you want to feel in this space?
Okay.
So we're talking about the individual themselves, their clients, or guests, okay, and what is the meaning of success? Because, you know, success can mean so many
yeah.
different things to so many different
yes.
people, and through those conversations, you get
Okay.
what it is you're looking for.
So if I don't know quite how to verbalize that, or if I don't quite know what I want, you've written a couple of books, and will those books help me just even envision what it is that's possible?
Oh, definitely.
So tell us about.
Sure, because part of the work that I do is not just design, it's about coaching. what I call interior environment coaching. And what that is understanding a little bit more about the individual, getting people to really explore their true selves and understand how they want their design to be. So it's before any design is done, any feng shui, anything. It's a series of questions, you know, what do you, want in your interior? What are you afraid of? What room bothers you the most? You know, these kinds of things. So I do those kinds of coaching. In addition, I've written, this is like my second book that I'm about to tell you about, but my first book is called Feel Good Spaces, Decorating Your Home for the Body, Mind, and Spirit.
Okay.
And it's an easy read, lots of exercises, understanding who you are, what a feel-good space is for you. So it explores all those things, and we dabble a little bit in feng shui and some other modalities, including color therapy, color psychology, and things like that. This book that I just put out, called Landing on Your Feet and Putting Down Roots, 21 Rituals to Transform Your Life and Your Interior Space. I'm really excited about this book. This one is about understanding major life transformations and transitions and how to use your interior to help you through that. So I have what I call rituals, and I'm loosely using the term, of things that you can do and use in any interior space to rejuvenate yourself and begin to re-celebrate life with the support of your interior.
Got an example? A real quick one? Without spilling the beans too much?
Okay, I could talk about myself.
Okay, do it real quick.
Yeah, so I would say that I recently went through a major life transition with a split of a partnership, and using various rituals such as the ritual of entertaining, for example, the ritual of music and dance, the ritual of what I call adding your greens, which is, putting plants around your home and things like that.
Okay.
To really begin to support you and refocus. Also, this is a great book for dealing with uncertain times, uncertainty in your life.
That's every day, isn't it?
Yeah, that's every day. Whether it's, personal or societal, to find solace and comfort, in one place that you have some control over, which is your space.
So if you're living with someone, how do you merge two different...
That's a great question.
Are you still figuring that out?
No. It's how do you merge that? I think this is a good opportunity to work through those things together. It's a good opportunity to have some conversation. I know with my last book, Feel Good Spaces, people mention, oh, this is such a great date night book. Someone actually put that on Amazon. It's really interesting. Where a couple work through the exercises together, work through those things together, because when one partner is going through something, you're really both going through it, right?
Yeah.
So, to both take you out of that and to refocus on what matters, your sacredness of your space. You can both work through the exercises. So basically each ritual has a brief description of what the ritual is, and then a set of questions and exercises that you can journal on how you can apply what you learned in real time.
So that sounds like it's both a guide, it's helping you guide with your business to guide people through what you need in order to serve them, but it's also helping the individual figure things out, basically.
That's right.
And I'm thinking, going through life, when I was in corporate world, the mantra was leave your problems at the door when you come into the corporate. You know. But well do we know that A, that doesn't happen in corporate, and B, if you're a business owner, it's even worse because your personal is your business.
That's right.
So, you know, with the couple of minutes that we have left, because I want to know how you get the book and exactly what you do, but just real quick, hit on that, how the personal does relate to the business.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if your space isn't right.
Exactly. I think that you can use these principles a lot in both your personal and your business space. If in your personal life, you want to be grounded and you want to be at a place where you are successful at your business. And if you are dealing with some sort of major upheaval or transition or something and you don't feel grounded, in addition to other things that you can do, you can use this book to create a grounding space for yourself, which of course translate into more empowerment and success for you and your business. It's all about, you know, always feeling secure and safe at home and grounded at home and balanced at home so that you can be your truest self in the workplace.
Okay. There's so much more that I'm thinking, so, but I want to make sure we get this in. So the book, how do we get it? But because you're sharing your expertise even beyond the book, how do people reach you also?
Okay, you can reach me at www.sherry, SHERRY, Burton, BURTON, Ways, WAYS.
Yep, that's probably been on the bottom of the screen sometimes.
Exactly. And on the same website, if you do a / landing on your feet, you can purchase the book online.
Ah, okay. And last words, what do you want to leave the viewers with, kind of back to just the whole designing space period, your final few words?
I think the main thing that I want to say is that always be true to yourself. Don't compromise who you are as an individual, and make sure that whatever is surrounding you, that you absolutely love, and that it energizes you to be a better person tomorrow.
Cool. Okay. Sherry, thank you so much for being on Think About It.
Thank you.
And I invite you in a short closing to come back to the next show and tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it, and think about creating the space that truly, truly represents and feels like you.